happening. Love has taken hold and it won't let go of us now. Something here is calling us forward, upward motion, with drops and control on. Rise up with me today. Lift up your voice and boldly say that we are the ones we've been waiting for. When the dream the high is calling, be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together now. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a chance we're all creating. In the moment for our greatness, let's stand together now. Oh, every day's a chance we can do. If you can keep my monitor where it is, that'd be really great, brother. Every day's a chance we can do it. Amazing to feel possession blazing inside. Paint with every vision, a dance in new direction, explode to new heights in your mind. I will rise up with you today. Lift up my voice and boldly say that we are the ones we've been waiting for. In the dream of your highest calling, be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who will make a difference. Let's stand together now. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a chance that we're all creating. It's a moment for our goodness. Let's stand together now. Oh, a chance you can do something amazing, to feel your passion blazing inside. Paint with every vision, a dance in new directions, explode to new heights in your mind. I will rise up with you today. Lift up your voice and boldly say that we are the ones waiting for. Let's stand together now.
Unity of Wichita. Wow, I'm so excited to be here. I am Patty Yoon. I will be your platform leader today. We have Huron Bro on music along with Dwayne. We welcome him back. Wonderful, wonderful. Fantastic. Prayers and affirmations by Alan Russell. More prayers and dedications by Sam Jones, our spiritual leader, and Dr. Reverend Paul Hasselbeck will be sharing today's message. Let's give them all a hand. Oh, our greatest desire is that you're inspired by the music, the message, the meditation. You are an inspiration to us. Every month, we celebrate one of the 12 powers that our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, identified and discerned to be within each one of us. The power of this month is the power of zeal. We got zeal in the house today. The color is orange, and I think it's also costume full of zeal, which is making it really exciting today. So zeal is the power to be passionate about something, to be enthusiastic, and to inspire and motivate oneself. So with the power of zeal, let's say our mission statement together. Inspiring spiritual transformation as a vibrant, diverse, and inclusive community. And with that same power of zeal, let's say our statement of being together. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. Now is the time to silence your cell phones as we welcome our first-time guests. If you're here in the sanctuary for the first time, reach now to the seat in front of you. There's a gift with a packet. You can put your name on an envelope there and pass it into the offering plate when it comes around. Your presence is your gift to us. If you're at home, just put in the chat box that you're new and go on our website to find out about ongoing and upcoming events here at Unity. Unity is a worldwide ministry dedicated to the ongoing awareness of the Spirit within all. We invite you to consider our teachings, keep what works for you, and gently release the rest. We will now bless everyone who is connected here today. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. Amen.
Good morning. If you can't tell, I'm a celestial being. And so I invite you to move into your own awareness of the radiance of the Christ light that you are. Take a deep breath and move into this awareness of oneness with God. As we hold in our prayers those who are healing, we affirm perfect health. Those who are recovering from disaster, we affirm order, peace, harmony, and understanding. Those who are celebrating the joys and the fun of life, we affirm for them continued expression of the joys of the presence and power of the Christ they are. We affirm this presence of God in every moment, every situation, and every beautiful being, this presence of God. Just take a deep breath into that and know. Be still and know. We are so very grateful for this opportunity of prayer, and we carry it forth through the rest of this service and through this day. We affirm God is, and all is well. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning to all. My name is Alan Russell. I'll be leading us this morning in our affirmations, followed by the meditation. And let's repeat these twice together. Change is an opportunity for my growth and for my good. Transformation, outcome of change. Change is a stepping stone to a deeper awareness of my oneness with God. And we'll go through those again. Change is an opportunity for my growth and for my good. Transformation is the orderly outcome of change. Change is a stepping stone to a deeper awareness of my oneness with God. So as we prepare for our time of meditation this morning, I invite you to close your eyes if you wish and relax and take some deep cleansing breaths. In this sacred time, we surrender. We let go as we experience the presence of God within. As we breathe in, we open our hearts and minds to the peace and the love of God. From deep within, we embrace this time of communion and reflection. As we rest in this quiet time of prayer, we let go of any sense of lack. We let go of any worry or concern. The noise and the clatter of the outside world fades away. From this presence within, this place of peace and love, we have the strength, the energy, and the wisdom to move forward, to experience the many blessings on our life journey. We must but let go, surrender, and allow Spirit to direct us. Knowing the wisdom of God is our guiding light and our reservoir of hope in every situation. Any guidance we require is available to us if we are open and receptive to the light. We are the outpouring, and we are attuned to divine light. In this sacred time, we are at peace, knowing that the light of God motivates us, inspires us, and guides us on our path of transformation. We have the wisdom, the abilities, and the drive to succeed. We know what is ours to do, and we do it. Even in times of uncertainty and change. For we know that during any time of uncertainty, perhaps the only thing certain is that life will change. Change is an inevitable part of our human experience. But one of the greatest of all human fears is fear of change. And while change may be an uncomfortable time, it's always a meaningful time. Times of change are wonderful opportunities to gain strength and wisdom. As we fully surrender to the process of change, we discover that which never changes. That reality beneath and beyond the physical world. We discover God within. To surrender fully is to be open in a deep way to each life experience. To allow ourselves to really feel each response to the events and the circumstances of our lives. We observe each thought, each feeling, each memory, and then we let go. We surrender to Spirit. We are one with the One. Breathe into this awareness for a moment in the silence. As we let go, as we surrender to Spirit, we no longer try to control and orchestrate the flow of our life. We let life unfold. We become less concerned with the external content of our life, less concerned with the past and the future, and more concerned with how we are living our life in each moment. As we surrender to the flow of life, our divine plan, we eventually find a new sense of peace and a new source of power. We experience the joy of life unfolding with less attachment and less suffering. Gradually, we begin to see that we are not living our life, but rather that our life is being lived through us. We know this to be the truth, and by the name and the nature of the Christ within, we affirm and say together, and so it is. Amen.
Wow. 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 Was that a treat this morning? It wasn't a trick, that's for sure. I've played a couple instruments, but it's just amazing that when I'm watching you and you weren't looking at the keyboard at all, and you were... Dwayne, I heard you were good. Now I know how good you are. Wow. Give him another round of applause. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm the Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck, and I've had the honor and the privilege to be Unity of Wichita's minister of record. And I could say I didn't know what I was getting into, because change is always occurring, isn't it? And when I was invited to do this by Joe Donlevy, thanks Joe, the program was just forming. And so we got to make it up as we went along. And I think we did a really good job. A really good job. And I can report that I have several friends that serve in a position like this. And mine was a cakewalk compared to what happened in other churches. And that's because of you. Now, it's all of you, and then those of us in the background like ducks with our feet paddling to keep the church going, right? But this is part of the game. And I really think we entered into a kind of authentic community. And some people think that authentic community, that there's no troubles, there's no upset, but authentic community includes that. And we had those, and we walked through them. And that creates another change, doesn't it? So thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this, something I didn't even know existed until I was asked to do it, which is like the story of my life in some ways. And so I entitled this talk, Reprisings and Begendings. Did you catch that? Begendings. Because with every beginning, there's a little anticipation of an ending, isn't there? And with every ending, isn't there an anticipation for a new beginning? That's how I feel. And the reprising part for me is, as I was thinking about what I would share with you this morning, and of course, I talked with Samantha about it, I realized that what I really wanted to do was go through some of the things I've shared with you over the last 2 years and just hit a couple highlights to remind you of them and maybe encourage you to use them if you haven't yet. Is that a deal? Yeah, okay. So if you've listened to me at all in the last few years, you know one of my big deals is questioning unquestioned answers. Questioning unquestioned answers. And we could just simplify that to questioning answers. Because as human beings, we're often looking for answers to questions. And then once we get the answer, we move on to the next thing, don't we? And we think that's done. And often that answer was good for the time, but isn't good for the time that is happening now. So it's so important, at least in my own spiritual growth, and I hope in your journey, that you are seeking those answers, and you are questioning them as you go along. And I've shared a few with you over time. One of the most impactful in my life was when I questioned the answer that fear was the opposite of love. That somehow that fear and love were separate. And we were supposed to get rid of fear so we could feel love. And when I was preparing for a talk, actually, for Unity of Dallas, it would have been about this time, about 2 years ago, I looked at that. And I remembered a quote that the Course in Miracles taught me that was, fear was made to hide love's presence. And then who would be making that? It would be me. That we make love to fear love's presence. And for the first time in 15 or 20 years of being involved with the Course in Miracles, I questioned that answer. And I was surprised and I was shocked to discover that really, love and fear come together. That actually fear is evidence of love's presence. Fear is evidence of love's presence. So you might be thinking, okay, Paul, what are you talking about? Well, when I looked into it, and look into it now in your own lives, just kind of pick up a time when you were fearful of something. Wasn't there also something you were loving at the same time? And it's because you were loving something that was being threatened that you were fearful? Whether it's yourself, your body, a friend, a family member, a car, a prized house, your job. If it was something you loved and you felt like it was threatened, you probably entered into fear. And so this has become one of my most valuable tools as I've been moving through life since then. The moment I notice fear, what do you think my first question is? Excuse me? What do I love? What am I loving at this moment? And you know what that does? It shifts my perception so that I can be in the fear and in the love at the same time, because fear isn't bad. We've made fear an enemy, haven't we? Yet fear can be a way in which we grow. Fear can be a way in which we do the things we need to do to protect ourselves. So let's make fear a friend by knowing that we are fearful in this moment because we're loving something in the moment. And isn't that what's really important? So that was one thing. Another one I shared with you recently because it was something I recently questioned. And that was the idea that physicality, the physical universe, somehow had a beginning and an ending. And as I looked into the science behind that, you guys know I'm sort of a science geek, right? Yeah. So when I looked into the science behind it, there was growing evidence there was a big bang before the big bang that we're living in. And in fact, it was looking like maybe there wasn't a beginning of the physical universe. And when we think about the physical universe, it's made up of numbers of things that stagger my mind. Do they stagger yours? The most recent picture I saw from the James Webb telescope of this part of the universe, they say that is the incubator or the birthplace for stars, and the scientists was discovering it, and they were saying, there are trillions of cells being born right now, coming into existence. What? And then how long are they going to last? So for me, when I think about the physical universe, yes, when we think of ourselves in the microcosm, things come into existence, they change, they go out of existence. But in the macrocosm, in the big picture of things, what if the physical universe has always been? What if it's been always expanding, always growing, always evolving? And we are aspects of that. And then I looked at mind. And when I looked at mind, I remembered, wait a minute, Paul, you're not talking about brain. And they know how I am with words, so I've decided I'm not going to use the word mind when I'm talking about consciousness. So this thing called consciousness, we are just learning about. But right there at the point of view, and the point of view, and the point of view, your consciousness is what? unlimited. And there's no evidence of when consciousness began or if consciousness will ever end. And yet, it's always changing, isn't it? Do you change your mind? Yeah. We change our minds all the time. And isn't that a wonderful thing? That in any moment, when we realize we did something wrong, we can change our minds. In fact, a talk I did a little while ago was, what if I got it wrong? And now that's become a wonderful tool I gave myself. Because when I'm talking with somebody and I think I'm right, anybody do that? I think I'm right, I get quiet and I ask myself, while I'm listening to the other person, what if I got it wrong here? And what does that do? That opens up the consciousness to other opportunities. And isn't that we want to be open? And then I realize, what if we're not here to get better so we can leave here? What if we weren't born bad? I mean, Unity talks about our being good, but I think that's often in reference to our divinity and not to our humanity, because there's so much in the Unity writings about how do we get rid of our bodies. There's so much in religion that's all about subtly, one way or the other, that we're bad being physical beings. Have you noticed that? And then I thought, well, maybe that's wrong. And maybe we are simply an aspect of consciousness that is growing, expanding, and evolving just like the physical universe. Did we get it right a minute ago? Maybe not. But we have a chance to get it right now, and we get a chance to get it right a week from now. And when we do get something wrong, guess what? I shared with you the work of Christian Neff, who said, self-compassion's the way to go, folks. When you do something wrong, be kind to yourself. Be kind. I'm retraining my inner voice to be kind. That was a huge shock to me when I listened to my inner voice more carefully and realized how self-critical I was. Can we be kind to ourselves? Can we own our humanity in its fullness, which includes the good and the bad, the ugly? And can we be mindful and be in the present right now? So I'm not trying to escape this existence. I'm learning to enjoy it in its fullness. And I hope you are too, every day. And that ideal of mindfulness, besides the meditation practice, but being mindful and present, there is something I shared with you. I don't know when it was, but it was called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 exercise. Do you remember that? Oh, by the way, you see that? See that? That's something new. I was coming out of a men's room, and when I got out, my finger was bent. So I have an appointment with a surgeon tomorrow. So will you hold me in prayer about that? It's called trigger finger. You couldn't play a sax with that, could you? Or a piano. Oh, do you have one too? Oh, look at that. So you can play a piano with that, right? And a sax with that. Yeah, whoops. Yeah. So I want to share what that is, because it's a way in which we can ground ourselves to be mindful in the present. So whenever you're awfulizing about what you did or something that happened in the past, or worrying about something that's happening in your mind in the future but's not happening now, we can use this exercise to bring ourselves back to the present when none of that really exists. So here it is. And just do it right now. You notice 5 things you can see. 4 things you can touch. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell. And 1 thing you can taste. And notice, you did it with me, if now you feel more grounded in the present, the reason why this works is our 5 senses are only operating in the present. We can have memories of things we sense, but right now, when you experience them right now, we are fully in the present. And isn't that important? At least it is for me. Another important thing I learned along the way is this concept that God is principle. God is principle. And I've said before this group several times, now you can either believe that God made principle or that God is principle. That's none of my business. But what I want you to know is this principle is so important to us living our lives consciously, manifesting, demonstrating the life we want. Because these principles are eternal. They've always existed. They always will exist. And they don't use us, we use them. In fact, a recent metaphor I started using is that these principles, like the 12 powers, faith, strength, love, wisdom, etc. The ones I like to remember are benevolence and generosity. Those are all within us. They're all within you. And they are like the ingredients in your pantry. Just like all the ingredients you might have in your pantry for making a cake can't make a cake, but you can bring your consciousness to those ingredients and make a cake. The same way with these principles. In the moment when you're not being benevolent or generous and you catch yourself, remember you are the very principle of generosity and the principle of benevolence. And ask yourself, what would my benevolence and generosity be right now? I don't know, sometimes I have times when I'm not very generous. How about you? Or benevolent. But I know the world would be better if we do that. So we have all these principles that we can consciously use to be the very best we can be. And I want to share one more with you. This is taking longer than I thought. And that is the calm and connect breathing. Do you remember that? I find myself sharing this with more people. And the calm and connect breathing is when we get stressed, when we get angry, when we get fearful, that's all being triggered from something called our amygdala, which is this little thing in our brain. And it's always asking 2 questions. Do I matter? And am I safe? And whenever the answer is no to either of those, guess what? It's hardwired. Our system is flooded with the biochemistry for fight, flight, freeze, please, that whole thing. And scientists discovered there's an equally hardwired system in us that counteracts that. And that is this happens if we do the calm and connect breathing. And this is something, so you don't have to be precise with this, but it's basically you breathe in slowly and deeply to a count of 4. You hold it for a count of 7, and then you breathe it out through pursed lips to the count of 8. So let's do that right now. So just check in. How are you feeling? And let's do it. Breathe into a count of 4. Hold it. And breathe out. And again. And again. And you should be noticing you're calming down. And if you don't do it in 3, you do it in 4 or do it in 5. But we're fully and completely hardwired so that if we do this, we calm down. And then finally, I just want to talk about fullness of time. So the fullness of time has come for me in this position of minister of record. There's a principle that's called completeness. And I have entered the phase of completeness with this beautiful congregation that I've come to love and enjoy. And the beautiful thing about completion and completeness and the fullness of time, it also means we're prepared and ready for the next thing. That's not only for me, but for this congregation too. Because your time is complete with me being your minister of record. And so it's time for me to be what? Eliminated. And it's a natural process, folks. I embrace it. At the same time, I remember the wonderful times I've had here. And so I see this church going forward. Stand up. Under the leadership of Samantha Jones, who is a puddle, she said, who in the background, in quiet ways, has kept this church going. Yes, standing ovation. And I see a lot of people over all the years of my being a minister that when I see them, I see the potential for a minister. But you have to wait until the person can see it in themselves. You know about that, don't you?
Nope.
Yeah. So I might give a hint or something. And I watched Samantha from the moment she decided to go for the field licensing program. She was like a pit bull with those classes, weren't you?
Maybe.
Yeah, a pretty pit bull. Yeah,
Celestial.
and she went after it. And the timing was perfect that she was accepted to the field licensing program and that this church is honoring her in that process. So I hope you will love her up like you have me, and you will support her as she's learning all the things she needs to learn to be a minister. I'm going to say one more thing. There are also people I see that really don't need to go through the program, other than it's a requirement of Unity Worldwide Ministries to become a Unity minister. Samantha is prepared and ready. I'm going to say that again. Samantha is prepared and ready.
Thank you.
And this is where I get to exit.
No, you don't.
Thank you all.
So before you leave, Paul, I just want to remind everyone here, the first time that I had the pleasure of working with Paul was in 2017. And that's when I learned how he worked, and he started learning how I worked. And because I was kind of hiding the way I worked, because, And as we went into this experiment of the Minister of Record program, I remember Joe saying, "Would you be comfortable with Paul?" And I said, "Yeah, that'd be great." And if anybody's taken a class from Paul, anybody taken a class? You know that he challenges. And through that challenging, he invites you to think deeper, to go a little further. And while it can be one of those things that kind of gets a crick in your neck, it's one of those things that is uniquely Paul, and it is one of my favorite things. So, and he knows that. I've showered him.
Well, not literally.
I've not showered him with that. Oh, Lord. Okay.
And that's my humor, right?
So, we at Unity of Wichita, because you've been supporting us since 2017, we wanted to make you an honorary member of Unity of Wichita. And so you are always welcome. You are always a treasured voice in our hearts. And I will call you again, and we will lunch again. So, with that, we as a congregation need to come together and share with you the tradition and the blessing that is. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. Oh, did you guys see it? I Hasselbecked it.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. This is not goodbye. This is until the next time.
That's right.
In the meantime, happy trails to us all.
By the music, the message, the meditation, and by love. Please consider giving a tithe or an offering this morning. The ushers are coming forward. If you're at home, go now to our donations page, our PayPal account, and our physical address, or you can bring it directly to the church during our regular business hours, Monday through Thursday, 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Whatever amount you are guided to give, just hold it over your heart. Visualize your electronic tithe, and let's say our offering blessing together. Divine love flowing from me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I receive, and I am grateful. Amen.
Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Everyone must change. No one stays the same. The young become the old, and mysteries do unfold, and that's the way of time. nothing and no one goes unchanged. There are not many things in life you can be sure of. Except rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. Winter turns to spring. A wounded heart will heal, but never too much soon. Yes, everything must change. The young become the old, and mysteries do unfold. 'Cause that's the way of time. Nothing and no one goes unchanged. There are not many things in life you can be sure of. Except rain comes from the clouds, the sun lights up the sky, hummingbirds and butterflies do fly. Rain comes from the clouds, and the sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds they do fly. Except that rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and music makes me cry.
Whew. Huron sang the words that are true for me. Music makes me cry. Thank you. So this morning, as we bless these tithes and offerings, we move into that awareness of our benevolence and our generosity, because we know that we are in that flow of giving and receiving. And we come together knowing that these funds our time and our talent that we provide go forward to support the mission of inspiring spiritual transformation as a vibrant, diverse, and inclusive community. And we know that this is a steadfast North Star for which we are always recentering. We are so very grateful, and in the name, the nature of the Christ that we are, that we know, we say together, and so it is. Amen. Y'all look so good. I love it. This morning, Mr. Wayne Donner is coming up. He's armed with a joke book. You're welcome. I don't know why I sound Southern all of a sudden. I don't know. It happens sometimes. We'll say these announcements, and then I have a special surprise.
I guess that means I'm reading again this morning. Okay. Monthly board meetings today at 11:45. Thanksgiving dinner sign-up in Fellowship Hall or on the e-blast. Be sure to sign up by October 30th, which would be today, so we can decide if we are hosting the dinner. I don't know that I've seen a sign-up sheet in Fellowship Hall, but I have seen one on the table outside the sanctuary doors as you leave. So if you want to sign up and you haven't, please see the sheet on the table as you exit the sanctuary door. Second Friday meditation, Reiki meditation this, I say this month. That
The
would be
11th of November,
the 11th of November, yes.
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day. I remember that well. For different reasons, we won't go there. So please mark your calendars. Now, as you all understand that if I deviate from my script, it is tantamount to taking my life in my hands. But I'm going to do it this morning anyway. Maybe anyway. Next week is the first Sunday in November, so we will have potluck, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. And a public service announcement. Clocks change next weekend. So if you forget, you will be here in plenty of time and you can help fix the coffee. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Okay. Now, church humor. When Sam told me we were going to resurrect this item, there was one from all the years that we've been doing this off and on that I remembered. And this one was first read December 8th of 2013. So that gives you an idea of how long off and on we have been doing this. One Sunday afternoon, a drunk stumbles across a baptismal service down by the river. He proceeds to walk down into the water and stand next to the preacher. The minister turns and notices the old drunk and offers, "Mister, are you ready to find Jesus?" The drunk looks back and says, "Yes, preacher, I sure am." The minister then dunks the fellow under the water and pulls him right back up. "Have you found Jesus?" the preacher asks. "No, I haven't," says the drunk. The preacher then dunks him under a bit longer this time, brings him up and says, "Now, brother, have you found Jesus?" "No, I have not, Reverend." The preacher sighs and holds the man under a little bit longer this time, brings him out of the water and asks, "My God, man, have you found Jesus yet?" The old drunk wipes his eyes and says to the preacher, "Are you sure this is where he fell in?"
Thank you, Wayne.
Now I'm supposed to do something with the camera, right?
Yeah, in just a second.
Okay, you've got somebody who doesn't know what he's doing.
And
but that's
next, the next contestant on The Price is Right is Wendy Prater. Woo! and Marcia. And and anyone else who is wearing a costume, please come forward. You're the Price is Right. Come on down. Oh my goodness. It's Darth Vader, a banana. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's a little puppy. Oh my gosh, they've been fighting. It's their together shirt. Then I'll have you step it right down. Take it right down there and take a picture. Mm-hmm.
Well, you didn't tell me that.
Well, I knew they were coming in. Thank you. All right. So in fair Unity tradition, we see the people, the presence of God behind these costumes, and we call it good. And so, as we have our youth department here, it's a wonderful, oh, they're being brave. All right, come on. Whoa! Step over here. Woo! All right, we're there. All right, woo! That deserves a round of applause. And so in Unity tradition, we want to bless especially this youth department and all of those who were courageous to step out as maybe their inner selves, maybe their egos, maybe their inner light, who knows. But as we bless them, let's hold the kids in mind as well. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. And we're going to smile for a picture for Wayne. Say cheese. All right, that's fine. And so all of you that are still in the sanctuary or watching online, let's stand and hold our prayer of protection, followed by the peace song. Connect with one another, however that looks. Oh my goodness. The light of God surrounds me. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. God is our creator, loved ones all of me. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.